Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to keep working on our phonics from yesterday. We are looking at market, okay, from this unit that you guys completed yesterday. So basically what they wanted us to do, so they completed number 1 for us, right? Our word was compete. So if you didn't know how to say that word, the first thing you would do is look for your vowels. Then you would look for that VCE pattern, right? Vowel, consonant, letter, and then a letter E, right? And that's all you had to do was identify and find the VCE pattern in the word. So let's look at number 2, right? I'm going to first look for all of my vowels. I see A, and E. And then when I look here, I see automatically there's a VCE pattern, a vowel, consonant, letter E. And this vowel makes a long A sound. That means it's going to make a long A sound. So that word is amaze, amaze. And that would be my correct answer. So when I look at number 3, same thing. I'm going to identify my vowels. I see the A, I see the I, and I see the E. When I sound that word out, I don't say campsite, right? It's campsite. That VCE pattern is there, and it makes that I a long I. Very good. Number 4, same thing. I'm going to identify my vowels. A, U, and E. Are they together or apart? They are apart. And back here, I see a VCE pattern. That means this should make the long U sound. Muse. I've heard that word, and that is correct. Now, looking at number 5, we've got our vowels U, A, and E. They are apart. When I look at the ending, I see that there is a V vowel, consonant K, and letter E pattern. That's a VCE. That means this should make the long A sound. My first syllable is cup and cake. Cup and cake. So this does make the short U sound because it's closed. Cup, K-A-ake, and that makes the long A sound because it's a VCE. Next word, I'm going to look for my vowels. Are they together or apart? I've got I, and E. They are apart. This is another VCE pattern here. This should make the long I sound. Let's see. Div-eyed. Yep, that is correct. This is a closed syllable, so it makes the short I sound div. And this one is eyed. Long I because of the VCE. Now we're looking at this next word. I'm going to identify my vowels, E, O, and E. They are apart. When I look at this word, once again, I see a VCE pattern. So the word is now envelope. Let's see. That is correct. Closed syllable, VCE, but long O. Very good. Next, we're going to look at this word. I'm going to identify my vowels. I've got O, U, and E. O, U, and E. So that word is volume. Long U because of the VCE pattern. This is a short O because it's a closed syllable, right? Volume. Clap it out. Volume. So, there we go. Next, we've got our word. I'm going to identify my vowels, U, I, and E. When I say that word out loud, I'm going to clap it out to myself. Sunshine. Looking at my first syllable, sun. It's a closed syllable, so it makes a short U sound. My VCE pattern here, VCE, makes this a long I. Sunshine. That is correct. Next word, here we go. Identifying my vowels. E, I, A, and E. I notice there's a VCE pattern, so this should make a long A sound. I'm not going to hear this E. And let's try it. Medicate. Yep. Med-ic-ate. This is a closed syllable, short E, closed syllable IC. Makes the short I sound. And 8, long A because of the VCE pattern. Next word, I've got my vowels, A, and E. Once again, I see my VCE pattern, okay? So that means this should make a long A sound. I'm not going to hear it. this one, and I'm looking at my first syllable, par, and then aid. So that's a short A sound because it's closed. Parade, 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 parade. I can also finger stretch it, right? Aid, parade. I've got 5 fingers. Do it with me. Aid, parade. 5 fingers and my finger stretch. Now let's look at number 12. Let's look at number 12. Once again, I'm going to look for my vowels. O, I, and E. Another VCE pattern here. I've got a long I then. I know VCE means that my vowel's going to probably be a long I. This is a closed syllable, right? Polite, 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 polite. So please check your answers. Now I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that and make any corrections needed. I said minutes, but I mean seconds. You can also pause this video if need be. Let's move on. Now we're looking at the next page we were supposed to do. So our first one, I believe, was done for us, right? So we are looking at each syllable and deciding if it's closed, open, or VCE. So our first syllable here was tad. Tad. Short A. There's a I'm identifying my vowel, right? There's a consonant after, and it makes the short A sound, so that is closed. Then I look at my second syllable, pole. Po-o-ol. I hear a long O sound, so it could be open or VCE, but then I'm going to look, right? My pattern, vowel, consonant, letter E. So that's a VCE pattern. All right. Next, I've only got one syllable here. Skate. Skate. Right? Skate. I hear the long A. I can't hear that E. So I know for a fact that this is a vowel consonant and this is a letter E. So that's a VCE pattern. Now we're going to look at this next one. Fire and man. We're going to look at our first syllable. Fire. 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 I hear a long I and I don't hear that E. So that means I have a VCE pattern. So fire goes in the VCE section, right? Next, my next syllable. My next syllable. Man. Man. Fire. Man. As in apple, right? That A is making an as in apple. And here's my vowel. There's a consonant after it, so it closes the door. It's a closed syllable. Remember, if you are making, if you're learning to read, which is why we do phonics, right, to help us become better readers. Even if you didn't know, right, you could say fire ain, right? You can ask yourself, does that sound right? Is that a word I've heard? No, but I have heard of fire an, right? Try it out if you can't remember the rules here. Let's look at number 4. Our word is migrate. Migrate. Now, how can Miss G read that? How do I know it makes those sounds? Well, because when I look at my first syllable, I see that it is open. There's no consonant after this I. So it's going to make the long I sound. My. Then when I look at my second one, I know that this is 8 because I see a V, C, E pattern. So this must make the long A sound. And you can finger stretch it, right? G-r-8. Great. I have 4 fingers up because I don't hear that E. G-r-8. Great. You could even try it, like I said, right? G-r-a-t-a. Grate. Migrate. No, I've never heard of that word. So you know that it's migrate. It's following the VCE pattern. Please fix any mistakes. Now, go. If you need to pause it, please pause the video. Next, we're looking at our next word. We've got our single syllable with the letter O, and then our next syllable is zone. Zone. I know that this letter O is open. There's no consonant after it, so it's going to make the long O sound. So that word is O, zone. O, zone. This first syllable here is open. There's no consonant after the O. It's going to make the long O sound. And I know this makes the long O because, once again, I've got my V, C, E pattern here. O, zone. O, zone. Now, looking at number 6, we've got one syllable here. Style. Style. I hear a long Y sound, making the long I sound, but my vowel here is a Y. My vowel is the Y, right? And I see a V, a consonant E, a consonant and a letter E. I can't hear that E when I say that word style, right? It's not styly, it's style, aisle. So that's a V, C, E. Next, we're looking at number 7. We've got 2 syllables here. Re and fuse. Re and fuse. Once again, how can Miss G read that word so quickly, so correctly? Because I know my rules. Miss G pays attention in phonics. I automatically see that this is an open syllable, so I know that this E is going to be a long E. How do I know it's open? Because there's no consonant after the E. I'm just looking here at this syllable, right? Pretend there was a syllable here. There's no consonant after this E. So I know this is going to be a long E sound. This is an open syllable. It's left open. There's no consonant after the E. And I know the R makes the R sound. So this re, I'm finger stretching, re. So that is open. And now I'm looking at my second syllable here. Fuse, fuse, use, fuse. How do I know this is making the U sound, right? The long U and not as an umbrella. Short U? Well, because I know this is a V, C, E pattern here. Fuse. The word is refuse. Refuse. Next, we're looking at our next word here. I see a bonus points if you can tell me what this is in the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A digraph here, right? The TH is making one sound. It's making the th sound. So I have I have 2 fingers up when I finger stretch this. And th. I'm saying and not a because, once again, Miss G pays attention in phonics. I see that there's a consonant. I know my vowel is a and there's a consonant after. So it's a closed syllable, which means this a is going to make the short a sound as an apple. Th. That's a closed syllable. Next, I'm going to look at my next syllable. Leet. I see the V, C, E pattern. I don't hear this E. I do hear this E. It makes this E long, right? It's not athlete. No. It's leet. Athlete. That's a V, C, E pattern. That E is long because this E is making it long. Please correct any mistakes that you might have. All right, and we are on to our next set, number 9. Number 9, we've got 3 syllables here, okay? A-N-T-E and L-O-P-E. An. I see a short A, an N, right? And an N. So that means it's closed. It's closed. I said short A, sorry. I see a vowel letter A with the N after, which means it's going to be short because it's closed. As an apple. T and E. Now this one might be tricky. Because in the English language, right, we would see that and we would say T and T. Technically, yes. Is there a vowel adding a consonant after this E? No, there is not. Because it's open. However, who can tell me what it is? It's open, but there's a category missing. That's a schwa. Because we say that as anta. That word is anta because when I say this last part, we know this is a long O, right? Because it's a V, C, E pattern. That word is antelope. Which is why this E is circled. If you didn't know, our schwas have been circled this whole time. And we're going to see that again in number 10. But so yes, this is an open syllable because technically it follows the rule of having no consonant after the E, right? But it doesn't make that same sound. And we talked about that in our video from yesterday, I believe, if you watched it. That schwa comes in all forms, even in VCE patterns. But remember, the schwa is very much real, that sneaky guy. So that word is antelope, okay? Now, when we look at number 10, let's look at the first syllable. Ep, ep, ep. I've got 2 fingers up when I finger stretch. Ep, ep. Now, we've got our vowel letter E followed by a consonant letter P. So that means this is going to be closed. Closed. And it makes a short E sound. Makes sense. And then we have our I all by itself. This is a vowel letter. There's no consonant after, so it's technically open, but it's circled, remember, because it's going to make the schwa sound I, I, I. Ep, I. And then we're going to look at our last one. S-O-D-E. I see my vowel O, and I see a consonant D, and then a letter E. This is going to make a long O sound then, because I see a VCE pattern. Let's try it. Sewed. When I say that word, ep is sewed, that makes sense. Now, let me rewind here. Let's pretend Miss G didn't know how to read this word, okay? And it's very possible, and that's totally understandable. So if you guys follow the rules still, and you separate it the way you did, and you said, okay, this is short E, right? I know my rules. This is a short E because it's closed. This would be a long I technically, right? Because it's open. So you might say ep-I sewed, ep-I sewed. And when let's pretend this is I read, right? If you're reading that word, you're going to ask yourself, say it out loud, ep-I sewed. You might say, I've never heard that word. So let me flex one of the syllables. Let me flex the syllable and change it around until it maybe sounds like a word I've heard. And that's when you would flex this I to make the schwa sound I, right? So you might say episode, episode. Oh, yes, I've heard of that word, right? So sometimes, even though it's following certain rules and it's technically open, you might remember schwa comes in many forms. You might need to flex your sounds, and that's okay. That's why we do this and we practice, and it's never a problem when you do it and you have to read it out loud to yourself. That's never a problem, okay? Now, let's look at number 11. We've got one syllable here. Quake. Quake. I'm holding up 4 fingers, right? Well, and we're going to practice more with the QU. But I see my VCE pattern here, right? VCE. So that's going to make a long A sound. Quake. Very good. I don't hear that E. Finally, we're going to look at number 12. I've got H-O-M-O and P-H-O-N-E here. So I see they're separated for me already. My vowel letter here is O. And I see there's a consonant after, so that must mean it's closed, and it's going to make the short O sound. Hum. As an octopus. Hum. And my schwa is circled here, but this is a vowel letter, and it's all alone, so that means it must be open. And once again, it's schwa. So I'm going to practice, and I'm going to say ham-I or ham-a. Not sure. Let me finish the word out, right? So it's a schwa sound, but I don't know if it's I or right? Let me keep finishing. Let me finish up. My digraph. Own. Own. I'm holding up 3 fingers here. Own. Phone. I know I'm only holding up 3 fingers here because this is a long O, because I see the VCE pattern here. So now let's practice. Phone, hum-a-phone, homophone, homophone. That is the final word. Please correct any errors that you might have. And don't forget to practice your spelling words for your spelling test tomorrow. And good luck, ladies and... Oh, no, not tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, you've got your test tomorrow. So best of luck, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget the skills that we've learned and practice.